Okay, so I've had a few people ask me exactly what the process is in installing or removing a silencer for a motorcycle. Um, Obviously, you may have seen my videos on YouTube. Basically, I ride a Honda VFR, and so what I'm going to be doing today is showing you exactly how to install and remove a Delkevic silencer, and likewise how to install and remove its baffles. Now, when it comes to baffles, obviously it's a matter of preference, and also depends on the bike you ride as well in terms of legality on the road. Now, personal preference, my bike doesn't have the stock headers on it, and therefore the pipes tend to be a little more open than the stock pipes, and it makes a little bit more noise than it normally would. So I tend to ride around with the baffles when I'm using the Delkevic silencer, and basically that just muffles the sound just a tiny bit so I don't get earache and it doesn't cause any hearing damage at all. Now, obviously it depends on the bike and the type of silencer you're using. With my Hawk silencer that I've got for my bike, that's a little bit longer than the Delkevic one, and I find with that one it ends up being a little bit quieter than the Delkevic one, just because it's a little bit longer and it's got a little bit more room to sort of dampen that sound before obviously the exhaust gases escape from the exhaust system. So let's get to it, and I'll show you exactly what it's like to install, remove the silencer, and what it sounds like with and without the baffle for that Delkevic system we've got on there. Alright, so this is the exhaust I've got on currently. It's a Hawk stainless silencer. I'm not sure of the exact model. It's attached to my Delkevic headers and link pipe, and I originally had it connected to this oval Delkevic silencer, and you can see the size difference between it and the Hawk one. Now, the Delkevic one is naturally, being smaller, a lot louder than the Hawk one. So what I'll show you now is the removal of the Hawk, the installation of the Delkevic, and then I'll show you the sound difference between that Hawk silencer and the Delkevic one. And then we'll go into what the Delkevic silencer sounds like with and without the baffle installed. So I've just got a 13mm spanner and a size 6 Allen key. So I'm using to take off the mounting hardware for the silencer. Okay, once that's undone, you can just slide that off. This is all that's there to hold it on to the back here. I'm not sure how well you can see, but there's a Jubilee clip under here. If you're using the Delkevic hardware, it will be an Allen key. However, this is just one I had laying around, so it's actually a socket. Okay, so this one's like I say, it's just a clip I had laying around. It's not from the Delkevic system. This one just uses a 10mm socket, and with the Delkevic system, you'll have all the clips using the same hardware. So it'll be instead of this, it'll be a size 6 Allen key more than likely. However, once that's undone and we've taken the mounting hardware for the silencer off, just give it a bit of a twist to loosen it up, and then it should just slide straight off. So this is the Hawk silencer standalone from the bike, and here's the pipe. Okay, when it comes to installing the Delkevic silencer, obviously a lot smaller than the Hawk one. Same thing, just in reverse. So put it to the end of the pipe, give it a little bit of a twist to make sure it goes on, and then slide it straight in. We can use the clip that we took off the previous one and just tighten that up in place there. Obviously, don't forget to level the silencer. Usually it'll have a Delkevic logo or something on it like that, and you'll want to make sure that it's straight up with the bike rather than to the side. And then just tighten that clip. It doesn't need to be too tight. Don't do it to the point where you can't turn it anymore, because you'll more than likely end up just crushing the pipe with the clipboard doing some damage to the clip itself. Once that's done, it's a case of using that mounting hardware that goes around the silencer. We'll slide it back over, offer it up to that mating point there, put the nut on the back, just tighten it by hand to start with, and then it's back in with the 13mm spanner and the size 6 Allen key. Now the nut on the back of this has a little nylon washer, so it's not going to rattle loose. You don't need to worry about doing it too tight, just, you know, just till it feels tight, not overly though. Make sure that your clip is centered on the silencer and that it's not hanging off the bottom or up. It's got to be straight with the silencer before you tighten it up. For this one, it's quite low on the silencer, however it should be fine. So let's just get that done up. So make sure it's straight and then tighten up, just tight enough. It's got a little nylon washer, so it's not going to rattle loose. That's not going anywhere. Now we'll start it up with the Delkevic silencer installed, and you can hear what that sounds like for yourself. Now obviously you can hear that Delkevic silencer is a lot louder than the Hawk one I had on there, and I had to adjust my microphone because it's actually clipping, it's that loud. And that's all due to the fact of how short the silencer is. The sound waves don't have such a large area to dissipate within the padding of the silencer. So let's try it again with the baffle removed. I'll show you the process of removing the baffle now, and I'll adjust my microphone so it doesn't clip, which does mean that you're not going to get the full effect of how loud this silencer actually is. But you should be able to tell the sort of note changes that happen with it when you do remove it. So when it comes to removing the baffle for a Delkevic silencer, the baffle is actually in the rear end of the silencer. On other makes and models, such as the Hawk silencer that you've seen on the bike already, the baffle is actually in this end, and there's a screw to remove here, and you just pull it out without having to remove the silencer. Now with the Delkevic ones, like I say, they're on this end, so you have to remove the whole silencer itself to get to the baffle and remove it, and that makes it a little annoying if you want to go out on a ride. And for example, when I'm riding with a load of other riders, I tend to want my bike to be louder, but if I'm commuting, I want it quieter. Now that's just personal preference, it's up to you entirely. I mean, you can have your bike loud all the time if you don't. So let's begin by removing the silencer itself. I'll show you where the baffle is installed, and then I'll show you the process in removing it. So after removing the mounting hardware, obviously we unscrew this as we did to install the silencer itself. This clip we can just slide down the link pipe, twist and remove at the same time. Now for Delkevic, like I say, the baffle is in here, and there's this tiny little Allen key bolt here. We'll stick an Allen key in there, unscrew that out all the way, and that will allow us to pull this baffle out, and essentially the silencer will become a straight through. You can see my hand moving just through there. That's because the baffle's in the way, you can't really see all the way through. Okay, so this is a number 4 Allen key. Just taking this out, You want to keep this little bolt and put it to one side because you want to reinstall it once you've taken the baffle out, just to keep it safe. You know where it is then. You can push from the other side. So you can put your hand in there and just push out from that end. And you can see it's already started to come out. From that point, it's just wiggle and pull. There you have it. So this is the baffle on this particular silencer. There's not much to it. Originally it came hollow. I've added some fiberglass sort of wool in there to try and dampen it a little bit. I wouldn't suggest doing it. It didn't make any difference at all, which is why I ended up getting the Hawk silencer. So with that removed, like I said, you can now see straight through this silencer. So it's now essentially just a straight pipe. It doesn't sound much different to just not having this on there at all. So we'll just put this nut back into the baffle itself, just to keep it safe. Same process, reinstalling the silencer. Slide it on, twist it, do the clips back up. Obviously the only difference now is that that baffle's not installed, so when we start the bike up it's going to be a lot louder. Mounting hardware back on. Now one thing I would say is that on the VFR, this mount isn't here. You actually mount your exhaust down here, move the foot peg, onto this hole here. Obviously the bolt will go through and this clip will actually mount down here. It'll be a lot lower, but because this is a high level raised silencer kit from Delkevic, it's actually a lot further up, higher on the bike and further back, so it actually requires this extra bracket which they supply you, and to install that all you have to do is take this fairing off. There's two bolts that hold the pillion foot peg, remove those and it mounts underneath between the two there. Standing here listening to it, it is so much louder with the baffle removed. For me it's unbearable to ride it like this. It's just too loud, hurts your ears, it's just too much for me. Right, so essentially that's it. There's not a lot to it. Let's say bolt at the bottom here, you just remove. In this case it is a bolt, but for the Delkevic system it's just an Allen key. That's all you need. Same for here. So as long as you've got a set of Allen keys, maybe a spanner or some grips just to grab the other side, you can change the silencer yourself. You don't need a huge amount of knowledge or mechanical expertise. So hopefully that's helped you. If you run into any issues or you have any extra information to sort of share with others, please by all means just leave a comment at the bottom of the video. More than welcome to do so, and it does help other viewers of the video as well. Now you may be wondering what it sounds like without the silencer, so I'll leave you with that. I'll take the silencer off now and I'll just end the video with the bike running without it, just for a laugh.